Be able to bonus with a little bit.
Y'all, it's gonna be.
You just Travis, just lean forward. You're good.
There we go. Okay, all right. I think we're back fixed. I think we're back up and running. I don't know where I lost everybody. So I hate to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give a quick rundown of everything that I just went over, so that way y'all can kind of be on the same page. So, fishing reports: North Carolina bite is slow, drum bite is still catching. Smaller fish, Portsmouth Island is on fire. Ocracoke still catching fish. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. Based on the northeast winds, there's a big hint for you. Point closure, once again, do not walk into closed areas, especially if you're going to the point itself. They have a closure up. Do not walk through it. You will be ticketed. So, Rudy, the bite's still good. So just to let you know, they are still catching fish down there. The bay is seeing more fish. Trout, blues, croaker, flounder, taud. So they're starting to come in a lot better. Right now, Fisherman's Island is now on the drum, as we were just talking about. They did catch a nice black yesterday off Fisherman's Island. Ronnie had sent that report over to me. He was with them. His buddy went out today while he was out, and Ronnie went flounder and didn't really do too good, but they did catch a big red off his buddy's boat. Chesapeake Charters went out today, just did a quick little run out to see what was out there. Unfortunately, struck out, but like I said, it is still early in the season, so kind of keep that in mind. Striper season opened this past Saturday, so hopefully y'all got out and wet a line. Got voted up on a few striping ones out there. Also, we're going to start doing pier reports once the piers start producing more fish, as well as more piers start to open up here. New this week, thanks to Brandy Timmons up in Delaware. She is giving me a report for you Delaware guys up there. Shorty's on the striper, but y'all have been catching those big blues. Brandy, appreciate it, dear. I said I might be bugging you every week on this, so I appreciate your help on that. Weather this week, for the ones that are actually trying to get out, tomorrow is going to be hot. Supposed to be in the 83 or something like that. Winds are still blowing out of the northeast. They are looking to switch over probably sometime around Wednesday. Supposed to go to southeast, changing to southwest Thursday. Friday, it's shifting right back to the northeast. But it is supposed to be nice all week. Supposed to be mild and calm in the 70s, 50s through the night. Be looking for rain, possibly Friday, maybe a little bit on Saturday. I don't know about Saturday. I doubt it. But Friday, they're definitely calling something for the afternoon. So the guys that are going down to get ready for the 4+ tournament, we might get a little wet while we're down there kind of prepping everything and scouting some areas. So kind of keep that in mind. So as I promised, we'll go ahead and kind of hand everything over. We've got Lewis and Travis here. They're going to talk about Vega rods. Any questions that y'all have, please put them on the site there. We'll go ahead and definitely get them answered for you while we're talking about them. So no further ado, I'm going to hand everything over to Lewis and let him talk about his rods.
Hello, everybody. Instead of me talking about stuff, I recommend everybody go to my website. There's all the information is there. We prefer just to answer your questions at this point, so I don't ramble on and etc. Please feel free to ask me anything. I'll try my best to answer you. Meanwhile, today I came home to a package from China. We got some new stuff to test out, some new improvements. We got the new Intimidator H and the Delight pre-built from the factory. Also, lots of stuff to talk about, but please, instead of me rambling, ask me questions, and I would try my best to answer you.
Let's go ahead and, the one that caught my eye, I'm going to pull it out real quick. I believe it's with your PCC.
Yeah, this is the Potenza Premium. This is a nano technology rod. It came as a spinner. I redid it for bait casting purposes. The new one, the one I ordered, will be just like this bait caster with a 20% stiffer tip, because this tip is a little wimpy for our taste. But not to be afraid, it's badass. It's rated at 10.5 ounces, and it can catch fish. I've already boat up a few times on it, and everybody's boat up a fish loved it. It's a lot different than what we're used to. It gives a lot more at the tip, but it's designed to wear the fish out, and it's got plenty of power.
It does come in a 3-piece. What's the total length on this, Lewis?
This one's 14.7.
Wow.
And I'm also getting one that's 13.7. It's 420 meters, and this is a 450 meters.
I've personally thrown these rods at the field. We've also had Angel test them.
Angel loves them.
Angel liked it. They're through the guys who played with them enough. Everybody's liking them so far. That rod right there loads extremely well, whether you're a high advanced caster or just somebody picking up a rod who wants to try to throw a long one.
It's designed for easy casting, so you don't have to put your ass into it. It'll do the work for you. You just gotta slow it down and let it do its thing.
That rod's called a tarpon, right?
Yep. David, what's his name?
David Sands, right?
David Sands caught a tarpon and a drum in Florida. He took it to Florida for Mike to test out.
Nice.
He loved it. He didn't want to give it back to me.
He says a lot of Mike Bassinet's thrown it and Mike's on it. If that's something he likes, that's good things.
That rod's been in Texas. The tournament casters down there casting.
Exactly.
They didn't want to let it come home.
And it got messed up and during shipping, but I fixed it all up. It's good as new now. And I got to put it bait casting style instead of the spinning deck like it was.
This is the new one, the Intimidator H.
This is the heavy. This is supposed to be the copy of the 09. They sent us what we call the Intimidator Light before, and it's still an awesome rod. It wasn't exactly like the 09. Travis is going to test it out and let me know how it works.
When he's saying the 09, guys, this right here is supposed to be very reminiscent of the older All-Star fixture.
Yeah,
That's completely different than Rain Shadows. The Rain Shadows, a lot got changed when Rain Shadows started making them, and a lot of guys fell off the bandwagon for liking them.
Well,
These ones here are a lot more reminiscent of the older All-Stars, with a lot more forgiveness in them and a ton more recovery to help you in the cast, to where at the end of the day,
It doesn't hurt
your shoulder's not blown out. You don't go home with a backache from having to cast and walk it all day.
Well, we haven't tested this one out yet. We just got
The light.
Yeah.
The light one is
original
definitely awesome and sweet. I love throwing that thing. So
That's-
I'm gonna let
That's
Travis
my
have
next
this one.
one.
I personally fished the Intimidator L for 2 days straight and went home and the next day did not hurt at all. My shoulders felt fine. Was ready to go again.
All right, I believe this one is the light, correct?
Yeah, that's the
light. This
Intimidator L.
is the new L. Well, the only thing we did was have this one to where the tip is now 8 foot 11 inches instead of 9 foot. To make
Yes.
it easier for shipping.
For shipping and
So
everything.
they'll be easier available, and that was an issue that CTS was having, and they switched to a shorter tip so they could get them.
Yeah, that's for pure shipping reasons.
Yeah,
and
pure
if you get a
shipping.
tube 9 foot, it's the cost and shipping is significantly different. So
Oh yeah, it's very hard to ship anything over 9 foot. And
it's very expensive.
in the future we'll be selling the rods. Right now I'm just gonna order blanks so all your rod builders can have a ball.
Got it?
Yep. You can check out Lewis at Cape Henry Rods. We'll
We'll put the
put
link
a link.
GRFC. Yeah.
We'll put a link for his contact information up on East Coast Extreme, our webpage, and also on the Facebook page for anybody who's interested in taking a look at his stuff. He does very good quality work. I'm not going to discount him as a builder, even though we're builders ourselves. He's builds rods for a lot of very popular guys as far as the fishing goes. Puts out high quality products, and now he's trying to bring something new to the States for all of us to play with.
I have this opportunity and we'll go through with it. We'll see how it goes. It's just all a big experiment at this point. It's going really well. We had a few problems. All we're doing is modifying, upgrading. We're very tough on things here compared to the rest of the world. So, we're having some problems. We're making things stiffer and harder, and so we can use it properly here.
Yeah, we fish the hell out of stuff in
Yeah,
the UK.
we have
They're
used
worried
stuff.
about catching carp and big stingrays. In the United States, we're worried about catching actual big ass
Yeah.
fish. So.
But no worries. I tested a blue rod on monster sharks. It beat their asses. It was
You can actually go to his page on Facebook, Luis Da Silva.
Yeah, Luis
And-
Da Silva.
There's some video of them up there last weekend on the point wearing out some sharks on it.
Yeah.
Rod has a great action to it. I haven't caught a fish on any of these rods yet, but just from throwing them in the field and pulling on them. They're going to be very forgiving for the angler as far as if the fish tries to take a run on you. it's got enough of a sweet spot in it to where the rod's going to take care of the recovery instead of you having to run to the rail and almost get jumping over.
Right.
And
It's
start
more
backing down
forgiving
into it.
on the line breakage issue and stuff. The rod will give before your line will snap.
Yeah, the rod locks up when you're fighting a fish.
Yes, it's nanotechnology, so it locks. It only bends so far, and it continues that bend. Plenty of power. You can just roll your back on it, no issues. And the ones we're getting are going to be a little bit stiffer, just to get rid of that noodle effect on it too.
500
Now, if I
pounds.
catch me falling out the
Yeah.
chair, y'all have lost that. Y'all be like, oh, this shit's ground.
As long as we
Man
don't have AC,
down.
you ain't taking the
Yeah,
power.
like, whoop.
I'd love to answer anybody's questions. I'll do my best. There's a lot of things I can't talk about yet, but I'll do what I can. This is something else they sent me. We call this a flounder pounder. It's a 6.6. I'm getting the blanks at this point. Later on, we'll be getting the built rods. It comes as a spinner and a bait caster. It's the old-fashioned action where it's got a nice stiff action.
It's got a sensitive enough tip for you to feel the bite, and then a great load all the way down through the blank.
This is the bait casting setup. I got another one that's a spinner downstairs.
Sorry for the picture quality, guys. I don't
Yeah.
know if you guys are seeing what we're doing here, but this thing right here is going to be a very, very nice pier flounder,
Sheep's
tall
head,
sheep's head,
triggerfish, all that stuff.
trigger spade. Pretty much, it's a great versatile rod to have on the pier. You could have that one right there loaded up, ready to fish whatever you want to. You can use it as your Sabiki rod. It can be your multi-purpose. Just one rod on the cart that can do everything. I personally like it a lot for the first time playing with it. It's actually changed my mind about another rod I just got the building. So we'll see if I kick myself in the nuts on that.
Right as of now, they put minimums on me, so I didn't get the rods. I just ordered the blanks. And until I approve everything, I'm not going to finalize the order. Everything needs to be good. I don't want to give y'all some stuff with problems.
Yeah, we're still
I'd
learning
rather
some
wait,
stuff.
take our time, and do this correctly.
Definitely.
And also, I'm getting the sniper rods. I don't have one here. That's going to be a 8'9" almost a 9 foot. We're keeping it under 9 foot for shipping purposes. It's going to be a lot like that, but no grip. It's got a fat graphite handle already. And basically, we're going to do it like the silver rod, just no grip whatsoever, real seat, and the guides. It's going to come in a spinner and a bait caster setup. And I'm also getting blanks on that one.
Be a good bucktail rod.
Oh yeah, I designed for sting silvers, etc., like at the point and striper fishing. But everybody agrees it's a pure bucktail rod. That's what everybody wants it for.
Definitely.
Very nice, good, same kind of action as that rod. They're basically the same thing. The other one's longer. There was a misunderstanding. They made the handle fat instead of a regular little skinny blank, but it turned out really nice. And I really prefer it that way, actually.
And I remember casting these at the field when you had them out there. Cycle field out there in the creek.
Deep Creek with Angel.
Yeah, it was. I was impressed, man. I really was.
People are intimidated by the wimpiness and the tips being kind of skinny and stuff, but once you throw it, like I always said, you have to throw it to understand it. It's not for everybody. I'm getting rid of all the Daiwa stuff I have, so give me a call. I'm giving deals.
Put it this way, I got an All-Star 1509, and on the field, I hit 580 feet with it. That was it. I couldn't go any farther. I went through the Intimidator L and the silver rod and the blue rod, and first cast with each of them outcasted.
Man,
They're definitely-
Everybody that knows me knows I throw my bright ass 1509 religiously.
which is behind him right now.
No, that's
no,
my 08 that gave the pat. But the first day in the field that I touched any of these rods, I threw the 1509 light, as we're gonna call it, I guess for now.
Yeah.
Um,
Intimidator L is what
and it exceeded my furthest cast with my personal rod by at least 30 yards. That was the day that actually me and Travis ended up tying for the pot, as we put it that day, and everybody
I
threw
think
a
I
little
was
bit of money. Yeah, he thought he was farther, but he didn't want to pull out a ruler, so it's typical male ego. I always win. But that ride right there completely blew me away. It exceeded my expectations.
If you
Holding it and playing with it was one thing, but throwing it was
It's a
completely
whole
different.
different thing.
And my shoulder didn't hurt. It got great recovery. It has all the aspects of a lot of very, very high dollar rods, building is something that's going to be affordable for, half the guys you fish with, the pier anglers that they don't want to spend all the money on a crazy CTS or something. This thing's going to fit the bill, and it's probably going to blow them out of the water. It actually changed my mind, as Lewis said. I was going to go the Saltiga route. I was ready to bite the bullet and just jump in, and now I'm waiting for one of these. I've actually tried to buy the one he had right out of his hand. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they're not for sale yet. Until I get
So-
stock, there's
We gotta finish,
everybody's stuff.
finish the research and
Yeah. Like I said, we prefer just to slow down and take our time because we've been incurring problems and stuff isn't as, needs to be a little stiffer here and there, and we're going to get it right. And like you were saying, we're going to try to make this affordable. I don't want to compete with any high-end rods. We're going to go as low as I can, as long as I can still make some money. I can't tell you any prices at this point. It's still a lot to figure out and stuff, but I have some prices and it's going to be affordable. No worries.
Once Lewis gets information, if you guys don't follow him on Facebook or you don't know his site, his link will be on our page.
Yeah,
I'll
my
also-
website is the best point of information. At this point.
I'll also relay any information through the Extreme Business page and also the Facebook page. That's the closed group for all the knuckleheads we know. I'll relay the information as far as what the built blanks will go and if he's going to be willing to sell the just the blanks, what the retail costs on those are going to be for any of you guys. If everything goes right, I'll also be building some of these, so we'll be able to keep everybody in the loop as far as when the availability is going to hit. Because if these things make it here by Drummond Cobia season, I don't see no reason they shouldn't take off.
Yeah.
Everybody should be wanting their hands on one of these.
The new Intimidator H is gonna be the beast.
Yeah, I like the light. I
Yeah,
haven't thrown the heavy yet. It just showed up today.
I love the light.
I'll try to put it on a
You see
field
what
or
I've
on
done
a fish soon, but I will be fishing the light this weekend and getting out there. So hopefully, even if it's just biters on the point, I'm going to see what it can do when pulling one around.
You saw the
Yeah.
pictures of the big sandbars that I caught. Those were all in that Intimidator out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Those are big sandbars.
sandbars.
I'm standing holding them, and the head's over my head, the tail's touching the ground.
Since y'all throw them, could you try to explain a little bit how different it throws compared to? I can't explain it.
it makes the
The whole
casting
rod loads up.
process so much easier.
You gotta slow
Casting,
down.
If you've ever thrown an old school parabolic fiberglass Hatteras heaver, it's very reminiscent of that. You do not have to power halfway through the cast, partially through. It's you slow in, fast out, as Tommy always says. Put the power about mid-stroke, and the rod responds so well. I'm used to throwing my 1509 Rain Shadow, and I have to go power from start to finish to get the numbers and to get the distance I want. This rod right here, to me, it's almost foolproof. It works like a fucking catapult. It's minimal. Sorry for the curse word. There goes I got $1 for the jar. But it literally is. It's amazing. I think honestly that we could put this, the one I've thrown. I honestly think that I could put it in the hands of anybody I fish with, and they're going to see a good gain in the distance that they're trying to achieve
With less effort.
with less effort and less technique and less timing. I'm almost confident that I could give this to somebody and with a real set up proper way, and it can be the first time they actually throw a long rod, and they're going to be highly impressed, and the numbers are going to be good. A lot of the guys starting out stuck with prevails and whatnot. You have to stroke those things the right way to get them to respond the right way. This rod, I've tried to blow through it with nothing but 100% power. It performed well. I've tried ground casting it. I'm not hip on the pendulum because I like the back of my head. But everything I've tried doing with it, it's responded perfect. To me, it's a perfect foolproof all-around fishing rod. That anybody who knows how to cast a rod, if you can pick it up, it's going to well exceed your expectations, and you're probably going to be just like me, waiting for one to get to our side of the shore so you can have
I'm doing my best,
It's-
but like I said, I don't want to rush things.
Nah, it's not you. It's out of your hands now.
It is.
Money's already set now. You just got to
Yeah.
sit and wait. So, but this rod right here, I honestly think is going to be a game changer, especially for the pier drum fishermen and everything. It's great as far as loading up on a small drop back Hatteras style cast in close quarters on the piers, and the tip's a little bit more sensitive than what you would normally expect out of a 15 or 9. So the bite detection is going to be great. You'd be able to see your slack bite happen.
That's what I like
before
about
your clicker and everything goes. To me, that makes a world of difference, especially when we're on the piers, Sandbridge being one of them. It seems 95% of the bites go slack before you ever get a clicker stream. So it's going to be something that once I have one in my hands, I will let it be known when I have it. And whoever wants to play with one,
If you want to
just
cast
just
one
let
now,
me know. Yeah, if you want to cast one
message
now, I'll
me
be.
or Lewis.
Well, I'll also be in Hatteras this weekend. Lewis is going to give me the light to
Yeah, I'll be
fish the
there.
Fort
I'll
West
have all
tournament
of
with, and he's going to be there also. Just down there relaxing, doing some vacation time with his wife.
Yeah.
So, if any of the guys that are down there, they want to put their hands on one to see if it's really what it's cracked up to be.
You have to throw it really to experience it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was telling you, we can go on for days, you know. Somebody just asked me a question about the lures and the swivels and the hooks. Vega is a complete tackle company. The rods is just what we're talking about now, but I'm also later on be involved in, you know, you can go on YouTube or on my website and watch all my testing videos and everything. We're going to get the whole line of hooks and swivels and lures. I sent my own custom-made lure that I've used for years to them, and they made a beautiful one.
Beautiful copy.
It's,
That lure there is
it's sweet.
gonna be your favorite Sting
Yeah.
Silver. I just seen it and I automatically thought.
I'm good for 100 of them, so whatever slash I can buy.
Things over there, just like a little finger mother.
Yeah, so we need to come up with names for all this. So I'm also accepting opinions on names and stuff like that.
The concept rod too.
Yeah, the concept rod, we're keeping it kind of low until we get it developed just perfect, but it's coming along sweet.
Be ready for that.
Yeah, we've improved the middle section, we've improved the handle, we're making it stiff. We're gonna make it the way you want
Can we talk about that one just a little
it.
bit?
Yeah, we can. That's
That rod right there is going to be built. That's the one that you were talking about. Is going to be built to where you can make it a 6-foot rod or a 9-foot rod.
Seven
Yes.
pieces that make.
Yeah, 7 pieces that make 12 different rods.
Yeah. So essentially, if you have this rod in the back of your, behind the seat of your pickup, and you got a reel back there to go with it, you can go to the pier. You can do everything from drumfish to spot fish to flounder fish, and you have a rod pretty much for every situation just by simply switching out a couple components of the
Yeah.
rod.
Basically,
a middle section or a top
it's a
section.
3-piece rod. It's gonna be like 13 feet 4 inches. Apologize. And it's a 3-piece, and I'm making it where you can change out the tips. 3 different tips, 3 different actions. You got a soft tip, a medium tip, and a heavy tip. Basically, it's kind of mimicking the Daiwas, the 33, the 35, and the 40. But also, I've made handles out of the middle section where you can have a 9-foot rod with interchangeable tips, or a smaller handle cut in half. Picture the middle section cut in half, and that's going to make like a nice boat rod or a kayak. I've been using it for kayaking. I love it. But you can imagine the sensitivity and the power of a good heaver tip on that kind of setup. It works really well.
That's awesome.
And the best part is the bonus part about it. You can take the butt cap off that small handle and slip it into the big handle and make like a 12-foot rod. That is mean as hell. That thing is badass.
Yeah, this is going to be a good versatile all around. If you're the guy on the go, you never know when you're going to end up in Nag's Head, or you never know when you're going to end up where the drum are. If you feel that the fish are biting and you want to jump on them, you can't be mad that you didn't bring a rod no more.
Yeah.
It's simple as just pop a couple different pieces.
You
in.
can have 3 full rods out
And
at any
roll.
time. You can have your 13-foot 4-inch rod. You can have a 9-foot rod with a medium tip or whatever tip you plan on using, and you still have a fighting rod.
Yeah,
That's a 7-foot rod.
think of it as like a package pin rigging deal.
Yeah.
You could have your anchor rod, you could have a bucktail rod or a sting silver rod, and a fighting rod, all put together out of the same package.
Again, that we're taking our time with because we wanted to be badass and take out everybody. So we were still developing little things on the handle. It was a little too soft. We made the middle section harder, and the handle got a little soft. So we finally got all the pieces. Now we need to test it out again and see how it goes. like I said, that'll be a later on thing. Right now, we're gonna do the Intimidator L blanks, the Sniper blanks, and that's gonna be a rod, 2 rods, a bait caster and a spinner available, and also the blanks. And also, my website is the way to go because you'll have a lot more details instead of me just rambling on about it.
Yeah, like I said, we'll put a link up.
Yeah.
Once we're done, we'll actually tag it in the video, or we'll even put it on our page.
Yeah.
And so guys that are up there with us, you know,
Any questions that come through later, comment and we'll
I will answer. You continue asking questions later. I can answer them all. I'll try my best. There's certain things I can't, talk about, but I'll do what I can.
Oh, yeah.
And no questions so far?
No.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just a normal. No, I'm not answering your. Yeah, just a normal chatter. No, I'm not answering your question on that, Shane. I don't care about the politics. I can care less about them. Be sure any other questions that y'all may have. Go ahead, definitely leave them on the website. We'll get to them as soon as we can. We'll get them relayed over to Lewis or Travis, so we can kind of go from there. So kind of coming into our issues that we have on the show, we kind of bring up some issues. The first one I kind of want to bring up is the guys up in Delaware. I know y'all are probably getting the same static that we were getting down here with beach closures. I know there's a lot of stuff going on there. They're trying to close your beaches as well. Don't give up the fight. This year is the first year that we're able to probably keep certain sections
The
open.
point will be open
Yep, the
until,
point.
the way I was explaining, the point will be open until the eggs that they've seen in the nest hatch. Once they hatch, then they're going to close it down completely until they're big enough to fly away, and it's going to open right back up.
yeah,
That's the way it was explained to me by the park ranger when we were on the point.
that's sort of screwed up because if they shut it down when they hatch, from hatchlings to flying away, you're 4 to 6 weeks. I mean,
This is MPS we're talking about.
I'm gonna say that's a swift kick in the balls for anybody who has bought a beach permit specifically for the point. I don't know anybody who bought one to go just drive the beach and look at birds. And if you did, and you are part of our page, I'm sorry for you, and you can unfriend now and go whatever direction you want to go, because you might see some very volatile statements being made towards anybody who likes birds, especially if they shut it down. That right there is our bread and butter. I mean, we spend, $120 a year for that beach permit to drive, and when they take that away from you, that's the only reason we want it. We want the permit, that way we can hit the point. And
Not necessarily the point, but
not necessarily just the point. I mean, there's other areas we want to go, but to me, the longer that we let them keep their arm out that far on the point, it's going to move to other areas that we want to be in. And it may not be targeted directly at us, but it's the way it's going to feel. So it's one of those things is if you give a man an inch, he takes a mile. These birds are going to start landing in other places. When they do, how much else are we going to lose?
They found a nest on top of a hotel in Nagsett last year. A 5 plover nest on top of a hotel.
Oh wow, I didn't hear about that one.
It's ridiculous. You're talking about a non-indigenous
150,
bird.
150 meter enclosure now.
No,
The hotel's got to close.
They didn't do anything to it.
It's considered a non-indigenous species. It's not local to our area. One dumb bird happened to fly through this area one time and decided to make a nest there. So
I think it's the point. It's great.
It's not one though. There's like 4 different birds.
well, that's what it was saying. I think
skimmer and all this stuff.
I think that
Oyster catchers, yeah.
I think that to me, it's Mother Nature taking its course. They're out there shooting other animals that eat these things because they're predators of them. Let Mother Nature run its course. It's sort of like the Darwin Award. If you're dumb enough to go look down the barrel of a gun, sorry, but you got to suffer the consequences of it. Things eat stuff, so and stuff dies. It's a everyday fact of life.
There's all these
Right.
pocket islands out there in Sound. You can use any of those.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, funny thing is, we were down Oak Grove this past weekend, and some of us already went to the truck. David decided to stay down there. And I wish I could show a picture of this makeshift teepee he made out of tarp and rod spikes. It was great. But next morning, he's got his knife stuck right in the sand where he was laying. And we're like, "What's up with the knife, man? What's going on?" He goes, damn fox come right up to me. I mean, it was TP, the pier cart, the fox.
The only thing between me and the fox was about 5 foot. That's it. And it's not that I'm scared of them, but foxes do and are known to carry rabies a lot more than any other animal. And, yeah, and if you would have seen the contraption I was calling home for that evening, you would have wanted a night too. Because if I would have sat up too fast to try to defend myself, I would have knocked the 2 supports out, and I would have been basically in a tarp with a fox on me, defenseless. So. Precautionary measures. It's not like I girled up and went running into the truck.
Oh no, he still stayed.
I was the only one that stayed on the beach the entire night until the sun came up the following morning, expecting other fishermen to be down there fishing. But everybody else was still in the sleep with migraines and what other women problems they suffered from.
When I stayed in
I didn't go home.
When I stayed down in Okeechobee, I ended up sitting in the truck listening to ESPN radio for like 5 hours.
Well, that's it. We didn't have a 4x4 pass. We didn't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Yeah.
So we parked and walked.
He was the
We
only one who stayed on the actual
We
beach.
parked at North End Closure and fished the beach. And me and Casey were the last 2 down there. He crawled into the first little tent I made and tried sleeping it out. But, rubber boots and waders with that bad wind, your feet get cold. That's the end of your night. He hauled it back to the truck. I stayed and fished for about another hour. Well, actually, I was in a little dome tent chair thing like this. So it got some pop up. It's a blind in essence, but I hid out in that just to get out of the wind for a little bit, and then realized Casey bailed. I pulled everything up to the dune line, pulled the tarp out of the sand, made myself another little pop up real quick, and I was just running security. I was sleeping on the beach to make sure none of our stuff came up missing. So I slept until I think I got about a good 2.5 hour nap or so. I came back to the truck around 6:30 ish, and Brandon was suffering from a migraine. Jimmy was showing his card, and he was ready to leave. And Casey, I guess, woke up because I knocked on the window. So,
But I did not leave. I stayed. I ate a bunch of aspirin and struck it out.
yeah, I mean that's what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the definition of the suicide run. We're going down there regardless of weather. I thought that it was well known when we were on the way down that we were going to be dealing with some extreme wind conditions. It was blowing. It was blowing. When we got down there, the wind reading on the beach was like 30, and it was gusting to 35, 36. Throughout the night, it died down a little bit. It was probably blowing 20, gusting to 30. The next morning, it was blowing probably 30, steady gusting to 40. It kept bouncing around, and we decided that we played our card as we don't want the ferry to get shut down, and we're stuck on the island, so we can't leave early Sunday like we needed to be back home. So we jumped the ferry that night. We ate some dinner, jumped the ferry that night, went back to Hatteras side, drove around to the points we had access to without getting the vehicle on the beach. None of them really looked promising. The wind was just killing it. There was 6-7 foot shore breakers washing the beach out. It was just too nasty to play, so we decided to just go ahead and everybody get a good night's sleep, try to get it back at it in the morning. We slept at the lighthouse parking lot and woke up in the morning, and it was twice as bad. And I walked down in the morning, I got out, stretched my legs, smoked a cigarette, walked down to the beach, and I'm standing on the beach looking at the breakers like, I don't got a rod spike big enough to stick my 14-foot fishing rod in and clear these legs. And it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, 43 even washed out, overwashed during high tide.
Yeah, it overwashed during high tide.
They had another pot of water there next morning. It was dry.
We tried to get some footage of us chasing some deers around, like pulling up one of them, sticking the GoPro out and stuff, trying to get them. Casey was talking to him, asking him where the hell the drum were. But that didn't make it in the video he posted tonight. But we did have a good time. Unfortunately, the weather did get the best of us down there. I mean, when the winds are kicking that high, there's not really much you can do. Our last stop, last lines in the water for us, we moved from one spot on Oak Creek down to across the street from the pony pastures to that parking lot there. And we were throwing 10s, and they were moving like they were 1s. You never would have knew there was 10 ounces on that rod. I mean, it went splash, and in 5 minutes it was laying in the surf next to you. I even tried, I think all of us actually tried doing the Conga line walk with it. Throw it out as far as you can and just walk with it. And no sooner than you started walking, it was literally laying on the beach next to you. It was just too brutal. I know that some other guys down there that had 4-wheel drive that had the access for their trucks parked right next to the closure pylons on Oak Creek on the north end, and wore some fish out first thing in the morning. But I think as the day progressed, it all fell apart. The wind just got stupid nasty. It wasn't directly a head on, but it was brutal. If you didn't have your waders and your some dry gear and the hell of a windbreaker, you came home like we did, wind burned and just feeling a little depressed because you couldn't fish the entire time.
At least you can go under in beautiful weather and catch nothing but cow-nose rays.
Yeah. I guess that's a plus.
I did that last week. That wasn't fun. Cow-nose ray after cow-nose ray.
We're gonna go down again this week.
Sunday.
We'll be down this weekend for the 4+ tournament, and we're gonna try it again. The weather I checked the other night when we were leaving Hatteras, Friday is supposed to be nice southwest up to Saturday, like 1 o'clock, maybe 12, 1 o'clock. It's supposed to switch back and start blowing north again. So it could turn into another blown out, crappy weekend to fish, but
I'll tell you
it seems like every weekend that we haven't went because the winds were going to be disastrous, they're posting all these pictures of fish caught. So maybe we'll just fall into that lucky hole at least once to where we get there and it happens. But unfortunately, got to do this thing called work to pay bills.
Yeah.
So
Can't do all that.
yeah.
It's showing the northeast blowing hard Saturday early now, so. 27 sustained at 5 a.m. in Buxton on Saturday.
Well, we'll still try it, especially if we got a vehicle that's beach capable.
It lays out to under 20 after 7 p.m. Sunday is light and variable in the morning, southwest in the evening. Sunday is going to be a good day.
We'll see. I like it when it blows southwest for at least a day before we go down. That way it blows the fish in and we're not waiting for them to come. Because it seems like every time it does that, when the wind switches and starts blowing good for us, it's 2 hours after we left, all the fish are caught.
Yep.
That's how it happens every time.
But it's probably just a curse of David,
Or you're sitting on Hickory catching cow-nose rays and they catch 20 drum on the point.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's the reason they call it fishing. It's not catching. If it was as simple as every time we go out, we get what we want, everybody would do it. And that's where you see the dedication. And I'm pretty sure from all of us, it's part of drum fishing, part of cobia fishing. It's just part of doing the style of fishing we do. We're not going out spot croaker fishing to where you're guaranteed to catch them no matter what's going on.
It's definitely a science to our stuff.
Definitely. It's calculated.
Yeah, and it's a science, but at the same time, a lot of times it's dumb luck. You
Yeah.
know that today's the crappiest day you shouldn't go fishing. I'm gonna go wet a line.
Hey!
And you catch fish.
Crabs, man.
I get some weekend downstairs.
Yeah, we're about done.
Later.
We can do this. We can share out. See that? You see that? Here, let me see that. Let me show everybody this.
We got our waitress Lou Funk showing up.
Lou is here with
Catfish killer.
look at these. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get close to the camera, y'all, because I know y'all about to be jealous as she's knit.
Got a whole
Look
bucket.
at there. And we still got a whole bucket downstairs, so
Oh, that's
good.
the
you see what we're getting into afterwards.
It smells good.
It smells good as hell. Yeah, we'll tear into something. If y'all can just smell that. Oh, man.
Love to smell some fresh Old Bay.
No questions. That's pretty sad.
And they're probably all gonna pile in afterwards. Like I said, there's a little bit of a delay.
LA.
It's always like that. After when we get done, it's all the questions pop up.
So,
either Facebook lags or
Since we're kind of on issues here, let's bring up this cobia closure one more time. Rumors have been passing around the mill that North Carolina and Virginia are not going to follow Fed's lead. Travis has probably got a little bit more better insight. This is some rumors I heard when I was in the tackle shop. They were kicking around this past weekend. Travis, what have you heard on it?
The North Carolina Fin Fish Committee, they voted last week to not comply, and they have a lot of say in what happens in the final decision for the North Carolina Department of Marine Fisheries.
Mhm.
Their final decision is going to come in May at that meeting. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be. I think it's the 20.
Yeah, I know it's like late
15th,
May.
something like that. Yeah, but them and now that the RFA is on board to not comply, and they have a lot of say in helping it. So North Carolina can get the vote through to not comply. It'll be 33 inches, fork length, one fish per person until June 20th, and then after June 20th, it'll drop to two fish per vessel through the end of the year. And that's perfectly fine with us.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's no point. Like we were talking when Sean was here.
2 40-pound fish will
Yeah.
feed 6 people on a boat.
Easily. Easily.
Four.
Yeah, there's no point of going
Yeah,
out
but
there and
what everybody's looking at though, as far as the boats go, especially charter captains, it's not about
Yeah, it's
what you can
money.
keep or what you can't. It's when you go out there and you actually get them 2 fish. If you got a charter going out of 6 people, only 2 of them get to catch and bring home the fish. You know, like they're the ones that caught it, landed it. If you're spending $300, $150, whatever, walk on a boat to go catch a fish. If I'm paying the money for it, if I catch that fish, I have sort of the say of like if I want to share with everybody else or screw you guys, that's going in my cooler. And sorry, y'all didn't hook one first. So that's what's going to hurt the charter captains is you're going to go from having guys that want to be budget conscious and go, all right, there's 4 of us, we got enough for the full day charter. We're going to go out and catch fish. Well, if all 4 of us throw down and go out and only you 2 catch fish, hopefully we're going to be friends where I'm going to get half the fish, he's going to get half the fish, or everybody goes
That's how
out
it
and
is
fish.
most of the time.
But when you take the opportunity away from somebody to catch them and keep it, a lot of guys don't mind doing the catch and release, but when you're doing the wow factor, especially with a lot of the walk-ons in the Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks area, these are people from out of town. They heard how good this fish is. They want to go catch one themselves. They're not going to be happy with they caught one bigger than what y'all have already killed. In the beginning of the day, you're trying to get them 2 fish out of the way and make sure you got meat on the boat. If you got 2 40-pounders and then at the end of the day, one of these guys hooks into a 60 and he doesn't get to bring it home,
Right.
you're going to have people bashing charter captains for no reason. It's something that's out of their control.
You have to get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that because we're fishermen.
If us 4
But-
on the charter and
but-
me and you caught 50-pounders,
But
it's going to go back to the cleaning station. They're going to clean them up and bring out bags of meat, and we're going to divvy them up among the 4 of us.
I understand that. That's it. Like I said, for a lot of the charter captains that get the walk-ons that are tourists and stuff, that might seem out of the realm for them. They might not even get that concept of it, especially if they're a walk-on and they're on a boat with me and you, and we're the ones that caught fish, or they caught it, and now they have to give us fish because we paid the fish too. That might come across sour to them, which is going to translate to them bad-mouthing that captain or bad-mouthing that charter service when it's sort of out of their control. It's going to make, to me, it's going to make their lives a little more difficult. For us on a pier, normally, I know the way we do it up here in Virginia, I'm pretty sure you guys work the same way, is if I hook a cobia, whoever my gaff man is, they get a piece of the fish, It doesn't get divvied up between everybody on the pier unless I know all y'all, and I feel like being generous that day, but if it's a big enough fish for me to hook a couple people up, yeah, but the gaff man definitely gets, a good portion of your fish. Everything gets spread around. So,
Something about the cobia closure, the South Atlantic Fisheries Management Council is going to be having a public meeting where public comment is welcome at the Kitty Hawk Hilton Garden Inn at the beach, May 9th. And everybody can go, and I'd say everybody show up.
well, they're also doing one tonight.
And these are the people who caused the issue.
Chris DeBassi from Godfather Sports Fishing is attending one tonight.
That's for
And he was
that's for
asking-
Virginia.
Yeah, well, that's for Virginia. That's where we're at. So.
Yeah, well, this is the people who report to NOAA. This isn't North Carolina. It's not Virginia. This is the people who caused the issue in the first place. The South Atlantic Marine Fisheries Council.
Yeah, they're the ones who decided that
Fisheries Council.
we've exceeded our
Yeah,
our harvest when everybody down south is still more than capable of catching and keeping every fish they
this is
want
the
for the
feds,
most part.
essentially.
So
Billy and
they say there's 2 different stocks of cobia. I don't know about y'all. To me, this is pretty much the easiest thing to look at is they come here, they leave here. When on their way here, everybody from Florida to Virginia catches them. When they're on the way out of here, everybody from Virginia, back down to Florida catches them. This is the same stock of fish. There's not like they can't say it's like the drum. It's proven that there's a big, pretty much a family of drum that stay in North Carolina
They live off
year round. They do not go to Florida. They don't go to Georgia. These are North Carolina fish. They've been tagged and reported 1,000,000 times that they stay in North Carolina waters.
Cobia
It's
do
the
too,
same
believe it or
thing.
not.
Yeah, but there's not enough numbers to support that though. I mean, we probably all know that as far as we got the gut feeling of it. But for Virginia, their Eastern Shore drum, there's herds of these drum that stay there year round, even through our most bitterest winters. They're there. They just got lockjaw. You're not catching them. People see them. The tags that these things are tagged with yearly only show back up in Virginia. They're not caught nowhere else. So unless when they swim by Georgia and Florida, if that's where they're going, if they're going to the Gulf like they said they are, no one's catching them. Our fish got lockjaw for them, but I doubt it's that. They're trying to say that the Georgia or the South Carolina to Virginia line, we have our own stock of cobia that is ours.
Yeah.
That's BS. There's no way that works.
Not only
Because
that,
especially when they tag cobia in Florida at the beginning of their season, and then the tags are reported here in Virginia, and the fish grew 4 or 5 inches on its travel and gained a couple pounds. That's showing you that we're catching their fish. They're catching ours. When we retag them and send them back that way, if you release them, they're catching ours. So how they can say that we've exceeded our stock, we've exceeded our limit on the stock of fish that we have access to me is BS. If they're going to put a closure on us in North Carolina, it needs to be East Coast wide. And everybody needs to go by the same rule there.
On all fish, really.
Well,
see, that's the issue right there, where they violated the Magnuson-Stevenson Act. It says on a migratory fish species, it has to be regulated equally throughout their span. So, say our season closes before we ever get to fish, yet South Carolina and Georgia and Southeast North Carolina, they all get their season. That's unfairly regulated to the guys up here. That's a direct violation.
Well, it directly kills us because I don't know how often Lewis, you live here, so you know get fish. If you do,
I try. I'm not that good at cobia.
But our season,
I know that y'all caught way too many this year, man.
Our season here normally starts beginning of May-ish. They start to trickle in, but what they're calling for the closure is now June 15th. Is that
June 20th?
June 20th? That's like the direct heat of our season, but that's when you can go out and you got a better chance of catching a fish. But we're still not guaranteed nothing. For us, you don't really catch them off the piers and surf and off a lot of the local piers we fish for drone until the end of the season. It's on their way out. Now they're coming closer into shore. They're tearing up the schools of bait that we're known to have pushing the shores. We see them in pods of drone when they're running the piers. That's when we have our best chances of getting them. So they're going to take all that away from us.
No, don't
It's
comply.
sort of a kick in the balls.
Don't comply. Come on. Everybody email all your
Yeah, we can not comply all we want, but it's not up to us. I mean, it's up to the politics, like it is with everything
If
else.
you get enough people
It's just,
together, it's up to us.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing
It was
as
going to be
the
nothing.
mega
Our
team
season was closed.
out
These
here
guys
pillaging the
jump
bay
off.
for all the menhaden and everything, and everybody got together and tried to make that stop happening.
That's big
And
money, though. This isn't
it
big
doesn't
money.
matter.
This is feds having bad science, and they're trying to cover it up by coming up with some kind of regulation that we will agree with, so that we can still have our
But
season.
if the South Atlantic Marine Fisheries backs a certain politician that they donated to his cause, he's going to have to step in. They're buying what they want. There's nothing. Us as a group of people, yes, we can go out. We can all say what we want to say. Our voices might be heard, but in the end, the people whose hands it's in,
When North Carolina doesn't comply,
they can specifically look at us and go, you guys have a nice day. We don't care what you got to say. And part of that, what I read was, if we do not comply, we're going to be hit with federal funding cuts as far as for our other fisheries that are protected and other, researches and stuff they're trying to do. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. If whatever state says no,
listen,
they do run the possibility of suffering later as far as federal funding goes. But in the same article that I read, Florida has shown them on almost everything they've tried to make Florida do. Florida told them to eat it and rejected that proposal and has not been cut $1 federal dollar.
Yeah.
So it just really, to me,
comply.
it's gonna.
Yep.
We're gonna see what happens. It's either gonna
Well,
work
see,
out
now-
for us or it won't.
now the Inspector General is investigating the science and the means behind all this that they did. So if he looks into it and finds out how messed up their science is, it's going to help us in the future. It might take a year or two, but if we don't comply, this stuff will be fixed in a year or two.
Yeah.
We just got to stay on it. We can't say, okay, we got to not comply and just drop it.
I
We
mean,
have to stay after it.
I agree that something needs to be done as far as the amount of fish that are caught, harvested, and everything. A little bit tighter restrictions, but just cutting us off. It doesn't help us out. It doesn't help for one, our economy, even down south, and help the economy there. There's a lot of guys that make their living. That's what they depend on yearly to survive for the rest of the year, or make the rest of the year, come around as far as numbers go. That way they can live. If it keeps going the rate it's going, we're going to be pretty much our striper situation from the early 90s where, hey, the bag's full of them, but you're not allowed to even catch and release them. It's going to be one of those things before it's all over with. But
Cobie's the second fastest growing fish next to a dolphin.
yep, well, they already have limits on those now too.
Yeah.
They just enacted
They're
limits
trying to take
this
it all
year
away
now.
from us.
Yeah. The turtle snatchers.
What I mean,
Turtle!
it is what it is.
Who
There's-
knows about turtles? I
There's,
know about
unless
turtles.
unless you're the politician in the office who's willing to sign the bill that says screw them, all we can do is we can voice our opinion and everybody can try to do something. But that's all we're doing, dude. To me, you're treading water, hoping to find the sandbar.
No, it's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
I hope it does, because I'd hate to see it get took away, especially shortening our season up as big as it is. Because if it does that, all of the local piers out here are going to suffer
You know what's
a
crazy?
good
Number?
blow.
They said there was 37,000 pounds of cobia caught from Georgia to New York from shores and piers last year.
I highly doubt that.
That's how off their numbers are.
Yeah,
That's a lot of big cobia.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I mean, they're saying our waters go. You said to New York.
Yeah.
Anybody who's in New
They're-
York right
they
now
caught
watching
cobia
us,
somewhere over there.
please send me a picture of a cobia you caught in New York. I'd love to see that. I've never.
I know Brandy's watching up in Delaware, so Brandy.
Well, no, I've seen them up in Delaware.
I mean,
I've seen them caught
how
off the
close
way.
they are.
That's
Most
it.
of them
I
are
mean,
offshore up there, though. If
Yeah.
they catch them, they're offshore.
I'm talking like piers.
Yeah, they don't know.
No.
That's what you're saying. You said
Brandy
they were
Timmons,
called
do you hear
piers.
this?
Piers and shores.
Let's see New York.
Let us
cobia.
know how your pier and start fishing is for cobia up in your area.
I want to see a picture of one on a pier.
Yeah.
Not a cleaning station, a pier with other people fishing on it.
And the only thing with South Carolina and Georgia, they don't catch them from the shores and the pier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all boat.
Yeah, it's all boat. So all that leaves from essentially Hatteras to the eastern shore. Nobody else really catches them off the beach or piers.
Yep.
So you think between Hatteras and eastern shore, there was 37,000 pounds of cobia caught?
Man, hell no. I can honestly tell you that I know of about 4 in Virginia that were landed off the shore. I think they're all by the same
That one
guy.
at George.
George Gravier, I think his
Yeah,
name
Andy
is.
Slater.
He got 2 or 3 last year. He knocked it out the box. I know there was a good amount caught
There was a
off
lot
the piers
of
locally.
last year.
I know there was a good amount caught off the piers last year locally in Virginia. And I did hear about a very good bite happening at the
I
point
think it
and
was
off
2 over 7.
the north end of Oak Grove.
Yeah, North
They
Dakota,
got them right at the beginning of the year. But I mean, there's no way at all 37,000 pounds. And that's more than a boatload of fish. That's
If my phone was charged, I'd go through and show you the chart, and y'all would laugh your tail off. That's why that's we can't let them go through with this. That the science has to be fixed.
Yeah.
yeah. If they can show us accurate numbers of where there's nothing you can argue about, then it's sort of
Yeah.
just shut up, stick tail between your legs, and walk away.
It's not off by like 1,000 pounds.
It's all
A
about
lot.
thousands.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's the same thing with Omega. Though they overfished the bay last year. They have a quota that they have to keep as far as the amount of menhaden they're allowed to harvest out of the Chesapeake Bay. Last year, they exceeded that number by like 1.5 million pounds. And instead of the government stepping in and doing what they were supposed to do, they gave them a buffer. Like, you have this much as your quota, but if you catch this much, we won't penalize you for it. They put it in an exact number that they caught. So all they did was fix it to where, oh, you guys caught 2 million more pounds than you were supposed to. But we gave you that much leeway. No, you didn't. You enacted a BS bill afterwards. I personally worked in the shipyards where these boats are taken care of at. They're all one bump into a sandbar or anything away from sinking. And I'm surprised the Coast Guard hasn't shut any of them down. Their death traps waiting to happen. And now they're out here raping the bay, pillaging everything. They're not just catching the bunker and the menhaden. They're sucking up drum, sucking up cobia, sucking up striper. I know when I worked in the shipyard where these things were taken care of, the guys who came in on these boats when they started giving them problems at sea were walking off with just scaled and gutted 50 and 60-inch striper in the middle of what is our striper closure here. We're not even allowed to go out and fish for them. they're walking off the boat with these things. Same with big old drum. They consider it bycatch. No, when you got that net basketed up, you can look in it and go, okay, we're dropping a nozzle and suck fish out. There's a drum. Why don't you have a guy standing there with a secondary net and him throw his ass out? They're killing the bay. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Completely off topic, but that's what they're doing with the numbers for the cobia fishery. The same thing they're doing with them. It's just one of those things, and unless you got very good, accurate science behind it, there's not much we're going to be able to do about it. And if you got a politician sitting there that is being funded by whoever, when they sign that piece of paper, it doesn't even really matter if you got great numbers or not. It's
As much as I hate to admit it,
your
though,
ball.
I think Omega could help with the cobia closure. I mean, think about it. If none of these guys in the bay can keep cobia next year and fish for them, what are they going to be doing all day? Be following around Omega boats with their phones, taking videos and dumping menhaden out, killing drum. You know,
Yeah, but at the same time,
they don't want this cobia closure as much as we don't want it.
At the same time, the boats you have to stay at, they have an operating range. You have to stay a minimum distance away from. That's just maritime law. You're not allowed to ride right up on them and see what they're doing. Now, last year they did have the guys that got really crafty and started flying drones over them and getting all the close-ups and the zoom-ins they wanted. But now they have a new drone law that sort of says you're not allowed to do that. So there's going to be a big gray area for it. But it's either going to do one of two things. Either it's going to help us or it's going to hurt us. What I think might happen if we're not allowed to fish for them and they're not being caught, they're going to exceed their bycatch limit on pulling in these fish.
Yeah.
And pulling in cobia. And hopefully it's enough to send a red flag up that what they're doing is killing it, and then what we've been doing the whole time is not as big as a problem they thought it was. Because can't say they target catching the bycatch, but it does happen. But I'm pretty sure when they catch it in a lot more abundance, they have to start giving better explanations for it. Instead of just we're keeping these 5 that were in the net this time. When they have 500 in the net, or 50 or 25, they're going to have to do a lot more explaining.
If Omega could just stay 3 miles offshore, everything would be okay. Keep your same quotas. Just stay 3 miles offshore. So the menhaden can be like, all right, we can go inshore and go in the bay.
Well, they come in and spawn.
We're safe. Yeah.
Well, not even that, but half what they catch isn't even size for what they need it for. All they do is they take the things, they run them through a press, squeeze all the oils out of them, and then whatever's left, they shred up, send it to dog food and cat food manufacturers. So all they want really is the omega-3 proteins out of it. It's the oils. That's the only thing they harvest these fish for. I don't have to tell you, 50% of what we see left in the boats working in the shipyards is all fish under 6 inches. So they're getting essentially the peanut, the small ones. Those fish do not produce oil yet. Nowhere near the quantities of the rest.
There you go. Brandy just sent me a text. Brandy Tim is up in Delaware and asked a question about the cobia.
Yeah.
She just laughed. I've seen small ones on surf. By ones, I mean just one. So, I mean, she's a pretty avid fisherman up there. If you ever get a chance, check her page out. She's Delaware fisherwomen up there. So yeah, she does a lot of fishing up there as well. So basically what she's saying here, one fish in Delaware, cobia from the beach that she knows of that she's seen. And it was a small one, probably not even a keeper. So thanks again, Brandy, for that. On that report there.
What are their limits even up there?
I don't know if they have.
Has anybody seen it?
It's probably the same. It's probably the same as what the Fed limit would be.
Yeah.
Just like how Carolina was, 1 per person, 33 inches. At the states.
That was yours last year?
Yeah, it was 2 per person at 33.
Yeah.
Okay, so
When I got was 39.
Cutting
I didn't
it-
want to keep that one.
Yeah, cutting it to 1 per person is what gave us the 5 days from June 15th to June 20th.
Well, I've seen that in our closure, like negotiations they were going through. If they bump the minimum, we get like 4 extra days. But four extra days for us isn't nothing because they're still taking the main swing of our season right out of it.
And all of those options they gave us were based on bad science. So why should we comply with bad science? No, leave it the way it is and fix the problem. And then if you do a reevaluation of the stock and the numbers that are actually caught and get good numbers and show us that we're catching too many of them, then all right, then cut us or raise the limit or put it at 40 inches, but fix it first.
Yep, definitely. All right, so we'll go ahead and come to a close here. I know we've probably been chatting everybody's ears off for about an hour or so now. Next week, same time, 9 o'clock. We'll go through some more tips. We also have another special guest coming in. So definitely tune in. Lewis, Travis, thanks again for coming out. I know it's fun today. Don't forget, Vega Rods, website was
Cape Henry Custom Rods and Fishing Gear, CRFG.
so that'd be you can look that up.
We'll put a link on there. We'll put my website right on there.
We'll get all that set up
And
and
if you want to cast them or anything,
Let
message
us
me
know.
or
Yep.
Lewis, and he'll have them at the point this weekend.
and we'll also have one at the point as well. So if y'all see us out there, swing by. We'll definitely let y'all swing the rod, see what you think of it. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. When I threw it, it's just hard to explain. Like Lewis said,
You have to throw it.
You have to
There's
throw
no
it.
explaining.
And he's normally a landing guy.
You're just not allowed to catch a drum on the H before me. Whoever throws it.
You're just throwing weight. So
I'll make sure we get it on GoPro video for you.
definitely. And hopefully we get some more video shot this week. When you get a chance, check out the video we got up there today. East Coast Extreme Fishing, Season 1, Episode 2. Hopefully I'll get some more footage this week. We can start working on 3. And as soon as I get that done, I'll definitely get it out for y'all's enjoyment. But once again, thanks for tuning in. See y'all next week. Unfortunately, I think Facebook has done kicked the live feed, so I might have some trouble doing the live feeds like I have been doing. I'll try to figure that out, for the next time we go out. So kind of be looking for those if I can get them back open. But until then, tight lines, keep your lines wet. See y'all soon.
Peace.
See you. I don't know what you gotta do to that to get it all shut down.
I don't know. Patrick!
Tech guy!
Yeah, we need our tech guy.
Oh, goodness gracious. I
Patrick,
got a cramp in my neck, boy.
tech man.
Feel like someone ran up and stabbed me right there. Bang. What's the chiropractor again today for?
Man, Doug, man, things are coming out.
Well, got some weird messages.
What is it?
Lee Williams talking about, I don't know. I think he's just talking shit. We still on?
It very well could be.
Oh,
so
what?
let's go.
That's
What is it?
You guys mean I gotta stop eating crabs to come up
yeah,
here?
you gotta quit eating crap.
Dude.
We're about to go do the same thing.
They don't know how to mess with your spank tank, bro.